for joining us today. This very special Tuesday edition. We made it through Monday. Boy, it's felt like a whole week already, hasn't it? I have some totally far out 80s movie trivia that is going to separate the Buffs from the McFlys, from the Biffs, and yes, there will be some Back to the Future questions. It's interesting, Zane is actually wearing leg warmers today. Actually, Zane has no idea what those are. Remember the leg warmers? And the scrunchies? Yeah, those aren't in there. But there's gonna be lots more fun stuff. So before we get started, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Linker, for giving us more than enough candy and popcorn for any movie length that you may watch this weekend. So be the quickest to answer all 5 questions, and you will be the new owner of plenty of candy and popcorn. You just bring drinks. We'll do the rest. And if you miss one, don't fret. Hit the second chance button and get back in. Like I said, this week's topic is all about 80s movies. So let's jump in. Let's get in the DeLorean and go back in time. Hey, Doc! The 80s was a hot time for Hollywood, but action movies specifically really took a huge leap forward. According to many, the 80s was the decade that perfected the action genre. Most of them were so successful, they're still spawning reboots, remakes, and sequels, even to this day. In one such movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he plays a cyborg assassin sent back in time to kill one Sarah Connor. That's right, everybody already knows. I know Joey Leslie is already looking for that one button. I'm not pushing the button, Joey, because then you don't know which one is it. Is it A, is it B, is it C? I don't know. Which one is it? Which one is it, Joey? Let's go. In what movie does Arnold Schwarzenegger play a cyborg assassin sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor? Is it Die Hard, The Terminator, or Mad Max? That's good. This should be a gimme, people. James Cameron, the director of this film, says he came up with this idea for this movie during a fever dream, probably the most profitable fever dream of all time, considering it landed nearly 80 million at the box office. The Terminator, of course, is the correct answer, and 80 million was actually a lot of money back then. It's not now. It's like what we paid for lunch. But, oh, look at that. Most of you got that correct. One incorrect. Okay, let's everybody in class look over at that person and frown upon them for not having their 80s cap on. While The Terminator was a huge success, it's got nothing on the sequel, T2, Judgment Day, which netted over $500 million. See, now that's more what I'm talking about. Speaking of Die Hard, the 1988 thriller about an NYPD cop who finds himself in the middle of a terrorist takeover in Los Angeles has recently been named one of the greatest action films of all time by critics. And it's also subject to much debate about whether or not it's actually a Christmas movie. In the movie, a building is seized by a German radical named Hans Gruber. For question 2, which actor portrayed Hans Gruber in Die Hard? Was it Alan Rickman, Mel Gibson, or Dolph Lundgren? I must break you. Who was it? Playing Hans Gruber was the actor's first ever film role, and he was in his 40s when it happened. That is nuts. It's crazy to think that this man may never have gone on to be celebrated as one of the greatest actors of our time without Die Hard. That actor is, of course, Alan Rickman. He was amazing in that. Ooh, that was a tough one. Ooh, savage question. 8 correct, 10 incorrect. We should go back, Yeah. I just can't stop doing that voice. Rickman would go on to be the most famously known for playing Severus Snape in the Harry Potter series. Rest in peace to a true legend. My niece loved Harry Potter. You know which one you are. I love you. Goonies, Never Say Die, in the hilarious 1980 movie, The Goonies, a ragtag group of kids stumble upon an old treasure map that leads them on an adventure to unearth the long-lost fortune of a 17th century pirate. For Q3, whose treasure are the Goonies looking for? One-Eyed Willy, Pirate Petey, or Blackbeard? This is a tough one. This is Q3. It's getting a little tougher, isn't it? They just don't make treasure maps anymore, do they? The Goonies ranked in $124 million at the box office, and to this day is still a beloved classic, filmed right up the road from us here. In the end, they do end up taking the treasure, but not before leaving a little tribute for its former owner, One-Eyed Willy. One-Eyed Willy. I could make some jokes, but I'm not going to. 7 correct and 2 incorrect. That's my 80s, people. Good job. Just a few months ago, the whole cast got back together to do a live reading of the script and raised over $150,000 for the charity No Kid Hungry. So good job. Good on you, people. I like that. Anybody home? McFly. Hello? McFly. Back to the Future was a time-bending movie in which teenager Marty McFly gets sent back 30 years to 1955, where he accidentally prevents his parents from meeting each other. In one iconic scene, Marty plays a famous song that has yet to be written. In the movie, a man named Marvin immediately phones his cousin, the actual artist of the song, to have him listen to it, presumably steal it. For Q4, who was Marvin's cousin? Was it Chuck Berry, Little Richard, or Jerry Lee Lewis? All 3 superstars in their own right. But which one was it? A couple seconds left. The song Marty plays proves to be way too rockin' for the straight-laced crowd at the 1955 Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Isn't that sweet? But their kids are gonna love it. Marvin's band, the original guitarist, phones up his famous cousin, Chuck Berry, to listen to the song Johnny Be Good. That's right. Chuck Berry. So that was a little bit of a tougher one. A few of you got that one wrong. Although you'd think Chuck Berry would be upset that the film implies he stole his biggest hit from a kid, Chuck signed off on them using the song. It might have been the $50,000 check they gave him that softened the blow a little bit. You know, money talks, the other stuff walks. Perhaps one of the most iconic franchises of all time was born in the 1980s when Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark came out in 1981. It was so popular that it was in theaters for over a year. While Indiana Jones may seem like a guy who isn't afraid of anything, that's not necessarily true. For your last question, what is Indiana Jones deathly afraid of? Spiders, snakes, or heights? I think Joey Leslie knew this one before. He knew what the question was before. He's good, people. He's good. Indiana Jones can do it all, moving from one life-risking adventure to another, all while being a tenured professor of archaeology. But Harrison Ford may actually be cooler than the coolest character he ever played. Unlike Indiana Jones, he doesn't have a fear of, that's right, snakes, or bugs, or even crashing an airplane, or 2, or 3. That's right, snakes. It's snakes, Jacques. Why did it have to be snakes? Oh, well, look at that. Oh my gosh, that was question 5. I was having so much fun, I didn't even know what question was. So more than one person answered all 5 questions correctly. As you know, we only have one prize available that triggers a tiebreaker, which means the person who was the quickest to answer all the questions wins. Here is our winner for today's event. Congratulations. Make sure you visit your wallet on the Linker app to claim your prize. It looks like Walker won that one. I love it. I love it. Good job, Walker. Was that a blast from the past or what? I would like to give a huge thank you to everyone for playing and to our event sponsor, Linker. Don't forget to subscribe to my event feed to stay up to date on our upcoming events and get reminders when it's time to play. And show us some love on Instagram. People reach out to us. We're sitting here writing these things and it's so hard to write them all the time and you never call. So check us out on Instagram. Hit us up on Linker. Give us a follow, reach out and say, hey, what's up? Say, hey, boy, Thomas, you're really putting on the pounds, huh? We love you guys. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, you are all winners in my book. Austin, Daddy's coming home soon. I love you, baby. He told me the other day I should say hi on every single show. Might just happen. Love him that much. Love you, baby. Cheers, y'all. Have a good night.